Welcome back to the channel. Today we have three spine-chilling true stories from the deep woods that will make you think twice before venturing into the wilderness. These are the stories whispered around campfires, passed down through generations, each one a chilling reminder that nature holds secrets best left undisturbed. Stories of vanishing hikers, haunted cabins and unseen stalkers lurking amongst the trees. So, gather close, turn down the lights and prepare to be drawn into the heart of darkness. These are three terrifying true tales from the deep woods. Picture this. A crisp autumn morning, sunlight filtering through a canopy of fiery red and orange leaves. The air is alive with the sounds of nature, a gentle breeze rustling through the trees. This is where our story begins. In the heart of National Park, a sprawling wilderness known for its breathtaking beauty and challenging trails. Our story centers around a young hiker's name, an experienced outdoorsman with a passion for solitude and a deep respect for nature. He embarked on a solo trek into the park's vast backcountry, a journey he meticulously documented in his journal. Days turned into weeks, and hiker's name delved deeper into the wilderness, his journal entries filled with vivid descriptions of towering trees, pristine lakes, and the occasional wildlife encounter. But as the days passed, a sense of unease began to creep into his writing. He mentioned a strange feeling of being watched, an unsettling presence that seemed to follow him through the dense undergrowth. At first he dismissed it as fatigue or his imagination playing tricks on him, but the feeling persisted, growing stronger with each passing day. One evening, a hiker's name made camp near a secluded creek, the sound of rushing water a soothing counterpoint to the growing silence of the forest. In his journal he wrote about a pair of bright, unblinking eyes that watched him from the shadows, a chilling encounter that sent shivers down his spine. The next morning, hiker's name broke camp and continued his trek, his journal entries becoming more hurried, his handwriting increasingly frantic. He wrote of strange symbols carved into trees, of whispers carried on the wind, and of an overwhelming sense of dread that clung to him like a shroud. Then silence. Hiker's name vanished without a trace, his last journal entry ending abruptly, the words trailing off mid-sentence. Search parties scoured the area for weeks, but no sign of him was ever found. His disappearance remains a mystery to this day, his journal the only clue to the chilling events that led to his vanishing. Some speculate that he lost his way and succumbed to the elements, while others believe he became the victim of a tragic accident. But there are those who whisper of darker forces at play, of ancient spirits that guard the secrets of the deep woods, claiming those who dare to venture too far. Whatever the truth may be, one thing is certain. Hiker's name vanished into the wilderness, leaving behind a chilling tale of mystery and unanswered questions that continues to haunt the deep woods to this day. Deep within the vast and unforgiving wilderness of Forest, nestled amongst towering pines and shrouded in an eerie silence, stood an abandoned cabin. Its weathered wooden walls, half hidden by overgrown vines and decaying leaves, hinted at a long-forgotten history, a story whispered only in hushed tones by those who dared to venture near. It was here, in this isolated and desolate corner of the woods, that a group of friends, eager for adventure and seeking refuge from the mundane, decided to spend a weekend. They were drawn to the cabin's isolation, its air of mystery, unaware of the darkness that lay dormant within its decaying walls. The first night began like any other, filled with laughter, shared stories, and the warmth of a crackling fire. But as darkness enveloped the cabin, a palpable shift occurred. The air grew heavy, charged with an unseen energy that sent shivers down their spines. Unexplained noises began to echo through the empty rooms, the distinct sound of footsteps creaking on the wooden floorboards, though they were alone. Doors slammed shut with no logical explanation, the sound reverberating through the silence like a gunshot. Objects moved on their own, seemingly guided by an unseen hand. Whispers seemed to emanate from the walls themselves, faint and indiscernible, yet laced with an undeniable malice that chilled them to the bone. One by one, the friends began to experience vivid nightmares, each dream more terrifying than the last. They spoke of a shadowy figure, its eyes glowing with an unnatural light that seemed to watch them from the darkness, its presence suffocating, its intentions unknown. As the night wore on, the activity intensified, escalating from unsettling whispers and unexplained noises to physical manifestations. One of the friends, a young woman named Friend's Name, awoke to find herself pinned to her bed, an unseen force holding her captive. Panic surged through the group as they realized the true nature of their predicament. They were trapped in a nightmare at the mercy of an unseen entity that seemed to feed on their fear. Desperate to escape the clutches of the haunted cabin, they fled into the night, the darkness around them alive with unseen eyes and the sound of their own terrified breaths. They ran until they could run no more, collapsing on the edge of the woods, the memory of that night forever seared into their minds. The haunted cabin still stands today, a testament to the darkness that resides in the heart of the deep woods, a chilling reminder that some places are best left undisturbed. The forest held its breath, the air thick with anticipation, as Camper's Name, a seasoned outdoorsman, set up camp deep within its emerald embrace. He had sought solace in the wilderness for years, finding peace in its solitude, a sanctuary from the clamour of civilization. But this night the forest held a different kind of silence, a silence that whispered of unseen eyes and unspoken threats. It began subtly, a flicker of movement in the periphery, a rustle of leaves that seemed out of sync with the gentle breeze. At first Camper's Name dismissed it as the forest settling around him, the natural symphony of nocturnal creatures going about their business. But as the hours crept by, the feeling of being watched intensified, a prickling sensation on the back of his neck that refused to be ignored. The hair on his arms stood on end, a primal instinct warning him of unseen danger lurking just beyond the reach of his campfire's light. He caught glimpses of shadows darting between trees, too quick to be a trick of the light, too deliberate to be a figment of his imagination. The snapping of twigs, the rustling of undergrowth, always just beyond the perimeter of his vision, as if something was circling him, testing his awareness. Sleep, when it finally came, was a fitful thing, plagued by unsettling dreams of being hunted, of eyes glowing menacingly from the darkness. Each time he woke, heart pounding, the feeling of being watched was even stronger. The silence of the forest, now a deafening chorus of unseen threats. He tried to rationalize his fear, telling himself it was just an animal, a curious predator drawn to the scent of his campfire. But deep down, a primal part of him knew that something was amiss, something cold and calculating was stalking him through the undergrowth. One evening, as dusk painted the sky in hues of blood orange and deep violet, Camper's Name discovered a crudely fashioned effigy propped against a tree, its twig limbs twisted into a grotesque mockery of a human form. Panic surged through him, cold and sharp, as he realized the true nature of the threat he faced. This was no animal, this was something far more sinister. He packed up his campsite in a frenzy, his movements fueled by adrenaline and raw fear. As he plunged into the dense undergrowth, he could hear the sounds of his pursuer closing in, the snapping of branches, the heavy thud of footsteps on the forest floor. He ran until his lungs burned and his legs screamed for mercy, the sounds of his pursuer echoing relentlessly behind him. He didn't dare look back, knowing that to do so would be to surrender to the terror that clawed at the edges of his sanity. He emerged from the forest, battered, bruised, and forever changed by the encounter. The forest, once his sanctuary, now held a sinister edge, a constant reminder of the unseen stalker that lurked within its depths. If you enjoyed these stories, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more terrifying tales. And remember, sometimes the scariest things are the ones we can't see. The deep woods, hold countless mysteries, whispered tales of the unexplained and the unknown. So, the next time you find yourself surrounded by the towering trees and the hushed silence of the wilderness, remember these stories, and be careful what might be watching you from the shadows.